All right, everybody. We are back. It is Tape Don't Lie, your favorite Raiders podcast. We are back, or film breakdown, whatever you want to call it, film breakdown podcast. We talk.
The Raiders Film Channel, baby.
Raiders Film Channel. That's what it is. Raiders Film Channel. Welcome back, guys. To Tape Don't Lie. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like we always say. Hit the like button. We appreciate all the feedback. I think it was last week was our first video without a dislike. We must have hit the spot that we must have killed it with the safety breakdown. That was the first non-dislike video.
I feel like that one guy who disliked us, I think he just got tired because we never went back and forth with him enough,
I guess so. So yeah, hit the like button.
Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully, he didn't get, something bad happened to him.
I'm sure he's all right. All right. So so hit the like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL, then at BD Williams 18 for Twitter. So make sure you guys follow us there. And this week we are talking about edge. We're getting we're talking about the edge defenders, pass rushers, getting at the quarterbacks, which some of the Raiders have not been able to do as well. Since Khalil Mack left, let's just be real. They haven't been able to get after the passers since Khalil Mack left. And I know some people will say, well, they couldn't get after the passers when Khalil Mack was here, but I mean, he could. So,
yeah, if you didn't think it could get worse, okay. John Gruden's like, pass rush can't get worse than it already,
Yeah, it did.
Found out the hard way here.
It did. It did. So that's what we're looking at today. We're looking at edge rushers. We're going to, of course, do the draft scout versus pro scout. I'm back as draft scout this week, guys. BD's back as the pro scout. So I'll be going over the top 5 edge defenders, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You might disagree, but these be the top 5 in my opinion. And then BD's going to go over some top 5 free agents, right? Top 5.
Top 4.
Top 4. Okay. Right? I guess that kind of tells us what's out there, right? I guess we got to.
Yeah. Well, Raiders, they draft Cleveland Ferrell. Okay. Max Crosby has a big year. Then they paid Carl Nassib. He's on the books for like $9 million a year. They can't even cut this guy. They don't need a bona fide defensive end. They need, maybe in Gus Bradley's scheme, a Leo defensive end, guy who maybe is a little smaller. So I'm looking at free agents who kind of fit that weak side defensive end, weak side rusher profile. So that's what I had,
Okay. All right. So yeah, what I'm saying? So how we do this, we go, draft first, then we go free
the money
agents.
Maker.
The money maker, right? The draft, right? The draft. That's what's more exciting. I mean, free agency is exciting too. We all know what it is, but nothing like NFL draft stuff. So let's talk about my top 5 edge rushers. And I think there's edge players that could fit all over this system. We talked about the Leo, which is basically more of a wide 9 kind of alignment, but it's not that both sides are 1-9 guys, basically in a 9 technique. And we know you got the Sam linebacker position when they do the 4-3 under, right? So let's look at some of these pass rushers that might fit that. And we'll start with Azeez Olujari. Is 240 pounds. My bad. He's 240 pounds, so he fits the Leo profile, right? And he's a skilled pass rusher, right? He's got a lot of talent with technique, right? He's very technique. So you see a nice little chop right here. Leatherwood gets his hands in, he chops it down, able to corner, right? So bend up and force kind of a little bit of an errant throw from Mac Jones right there. That's actually a nice little back shoulder, right? But the thing that he does the best that I love about Olujari is the way he sets the edge, man. He sets the edge. He's such a monster, which I think is the reason why I think the Raiders might like him a lot, is the way that he sets the edge. Look at that, just hands inside, perfect hands right there. And you see him getting good low, right, with the pads, good leverage right there, able to stack and shed, stop or run, keep it to 3 yards. And that's what I really like about Olujari. But what kind of concerns me is just his burst, man. I just don't see the upfield burst that you would like to see from a first round edge player. And you kind of see Leatherwood is not really worried about him getting around him, right? Leatherwood's not worried about it. And then he tried to do the same move and it didn't work. So I think with Olujari, it's more about he really can't get off the line and the speed that he really has. You know, I wonder about that. But let's get into the athletic freak here, which is Gregory Rousseau, which I have as my number 4 edge rusher. This dude is just a freak. And it's kind of interesting because he played wide receiver in high school, and he's only played 1 year of edge, right? And he had 15 and a half sacks. Okay. So this dude he has some natural talent. And you can see it right here. He's got some natural power. Look at bull rush, hands inside, able to finish, cause an interception, right? And you see he's got some natural talent with playing edge, right? And you'll see him again here rushing inside, which I thought was interesting. He did pretty well rushing inside. And you see him just a quick club inside, sack. So he was really good inside, and he's 265 pounds. So there's a lot he can do, right? And then the best thing about him is his motor, man. He's just all over the field. He's never going to stop. He's going to get sacks. These are 2 sacks that he got. Another one, boom, just motor. He's all over the field. But one thing is just he really just has no idea what he's doing because the freshman, look at him, he's getting blocked up by a tight end here, guys. Pretty good. So he is has the highest upside of any of the pass rushers. Okay. Right. So it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. Then we got Kwity Paye, man, this dude just dominated Minnesota, and he's just so quick. Right, he's about 270 pounds, but he is quick and he has a lot of speed off the edge. Right, you see it right there. He's bursts, and then he's got some good moves, and you see a little bit of bend there too at 270 pounds, rushing off the edge. Right, and he's got some power too. And then just look at this quickness. I didn't even do any slow motion with this because look how quick he is right here. Just slam to the side, then put the burst on, finish, slam the quarterback into the ground. And Kwity Paye, he's got some burst, man. And look at him, just the motor too, just the speed. That's 270 pounds moving right there. But I will say one thing with him is that he doesn't really have a pass rush plan. And you see kind of the motor here, but like he just doesn't have a plan to get to the quarterback at this point in time. So he needs some work with his pass rush plan and his technique overall. But the burst and the power and the speed that he has at 270 pounds, man, is pretty special. So he has a lot of upside with Kwity Paye. But Joseph Ossai, now this guy is just my dude. This is my dude right here. I'm a Joseph Ossai stan. Okay, I'll tell you guys right here. I really feel like he can do a lot. Like, okay, let's check it out. So, he can win inside, right? You saw the other guys. They had like one move. Joseph Ossai, I'm a jab step. I'm gonna go inside. Quick pressure, right? Let's check it out. So when outside, I can win outside too. Not just inside. I can win outside, right? And then I can win outside again. Look at me here winning outside, right? With a nice little move there. All day. And the motor is crazy. Like, look at this. Wait, this is from the backside. Here comes Joseph Ossai. Boom. Right? And then here's another play. This is a wide receiver screen. And guess who's making the tackle? Joseph Ossai, right? But the thing with Joseph Ossai is that he just goes forward. He does not set the edge at all, really. He's just not an edge setter, as you can see. And this just gives up a huge run when he's trying to set the edge. But Ossai, I am a Ossai stan. If the Raiders draft Joseph Ossai, I'll be doing backflips. I'll tell you that, guys, right now. But the best edge rusher and the most complete edge rusher in this draft is Jalen Phillips. There's not really a lot to Jalen Phillips' game that is not there, right? He can play the run. You see him just banging the tight end out of the way, right? He's quick off the ball. A lot of quick bursts right there, right? Upfield bursts is what you love to see, right? And then he's over here taking on a guard where he's pulling, blowing up a play, right? Tackle for loss, right? And then he's got all types of edge rush skills. You see him with the swing move right there, the jab step to the swim move. He's got all types of pass rush moves. He's quick. He's got athleticism. He could bend. This is everything that Jalen Phillips could do. He just has the concussion issue, which why he might actually fall to the Raiders at 17. You can see him there with the little cross chop there, right there, and then the bend in the corner. And then this is the real reason why I love Jalen Phillips is this last play right here. This is hustle, right? So he's gonna win off the edge, right? And then watch him just hustle and then create this fumble, man. Right? It's just so much talent there for Jalen Phillips. So I really like what Jalen Phillips does. So that's really my edge one, would be Jalen Phillips. And it's more because he is the most complete guy, right? So if I was going based on upside, which you're going to see a lot of people have Rousseau as number one, which to me, It's not that crazy. All right. Mostly because of upside. Because dude got 15 sacks and he has no idea what he's doing. And it's funny, like every scouting report that you read, they basically say that. Like he has no idea what he's doing, but man, he's 6'5" and he's long and he's 265 and he got 15 and a half sacks and he has a crazy high motor.
He might be taller than 6'5" too. Like this guy.
I think yeah, he's listed as 6'7", right? That's 6'7".
Right. It's so yeah. So and this comes down. This really comes down. I love this argument or this debate.
Yeah.
Are you drafting a guy because you think he's going to be able to step in year one, make an impact, okay? Or are you drafting a guy who you think maybe in a few years could be a premier player in the NFL?
Yeah. And that's the thing, because if I had to take a guess about which one of these guys could be the best one, I'd probably guess Rousseau.
Right.
That would probably be my guess. Yeah, I might be saying killing his last name. I'm sorry if I am, but he has the highest upside, bro. Like he's long, he's young, he's productive, right? And he's never even played defensive end his whole life, right? He plays a wide receiver, right? So then he has athleticism, right? It's really, really high athleticism, and he could win inside too. He could win inside. You saw that he has the size to play inside if he wants to play inside on early downs, and he's still young too. We don't know how big he could get to, right? He could probably get to 275. He could probably put some more weight on and still have that high athleticism that he has. So it's a lot to him because he's so young. He's gonna be really young going into the NFL. He's probably gonna be 25 by his second contract, 24, 25. He's got some serious upside.
Yeah, he's definitely first guy going.
He's got some serious upside to him, right, man? That's what I'm saying. So, but like skill wise, if you're like really ranking these guys based on traits, like some guys like Owe from Penn State, he's a really high trait guy, super high on traits, but he doesn't have the production and he's not finishing, he's not getting a lot of stacks. So it's kind of like, do I bet on the traits that he's gonna have the traits like he's Danielle Hunter, right? Or does production matter? But then you go back to Rousseau. Rousseau has the production, so that's when it becomes interesting. But it for the Raiders, because the Raiders need defensive rush like right now. Like Rousseau would be yesterday, right? That's why Rousseau would. I don't know if he would be the best pick for the Raiders at 17 if they're looking for help right now. But if they're thinking about 3 years from now, then take him. Hell yeah, right? But if they're looking for help right now, they probably should go with like Ossai, or they'll go with like Phillips if they just for guys that can come in and can rush the passer tomorrow, right? And they got skills, they got moves, they don't have like one go-to move. They can beat you different ways, right? They're high motor guys, so it's basically how you want to look at it, right? But to me, I mean, they might go Olujari like 17 or something like that too, because the way he sets the edge and he fits the profile that they're looking for in Leo's, and he has a size and the profile, and Gus Bradley might really, really like him, but I don't know if he has that burst and athleticism that you would just want to see from that type of player.
Well, that's really the interesting thing, going back and watching Gus Bradley's defenses in Jacksonville, and then going and watching the defense that he had in Los Angeles with the Chargers.
Yeah,
he had 2 Leo edges, Yannick Ngakoue and Melvin Ingram, and these were stylistically different types of players, right? Like Yannick Ngakoue is like no run stopping, but he's a speed rusher. He can win with a lot of different moves, right? Maybe similar to like an Ossai type.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Probably similar body type as well. And then Melvin Ingram, I'm not saying that he's not athletic, but in comparison to maybe other guys that play the edge position, who are at a similar weight, he's not like a freak athlete or anything like that. But the way that Ingram wins, and has won in the NFL over the last 4 or 5 years, is on a lot of inside moves. Every Raiders fan, you have it in your head, the inside spin move that he gets Colton Miller on a couple years ago, right? Like everyone remembers that, and he also rushes from the interior. So those are two stylistically different types of 6'2", 250-pound, in that range guys. So we'll see, because I don't think that Bradley cares about the style as much as he cares about more like the body type, it seems.
Yeah.
So, and I think those are the two guys I'm looking at closely in the draft is Ossai and Olujari. Or Olujari, I'm saying his name wrong.
Yeah, Olujari, yeah.
I think that those guys kind of fit, what Gus Bradley has traditionally wanted. And again, if you get a guy like Phillips, okay, if Phillips falls because the injury history, do they even want to take a gamble on him being, able to play out his first contract with them, and then B, okay, so where's he going to play? Like they got Cleveland Ferrell and Carl Nassib and Max Crosby, like where is a guy like Phillips going to play? Like they basically have three defensive ends in one spot right now, right? Whereas Ossai, that kind of fits. He can play on the opposite side. On rush downs, you can have Cleveland Ferrell bump in and Max Crosby come in and rush the passer. Things like that. I think those are the two players. Ojulari. I keep saying his name wrong. Is it Olujari or Ojulari?
Just say Azeez or say.
There you go. Yeah. Ao or Ossai. Those two guys are the guys that I'm looking at most closely in this draft for sure.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like that Olujari is somebody that they are looking at too. But like I said, if they take Ossai, bro, I'm doing backflips. I'm doing backflips. I'm telling you guys, you're gonna be upset. I'm having like probably some biases with it if he doesn't get a lot of sacks.
You're gonna be yeah. I love it. Okay, let me ask you a question about Ossai.
Yeah,
he played linebacker or rush linebacker, or he played defensive end.
See, that's the thing. As a sophomore, which I'm gonna make sure that I got this right, but in 2019, because I don't want to make sure if I got sophomore, junior right. In 2019, he played linebacker. He rushed the passer on third down, right?
Right.
But he was primarily a linebacker, so he was in coverage. He was trying to fill and doing all that linebacker stuff, right? This year though, he's primarily an edge, so it was different. So this year, that's why he had more sacks, and he was like fifth in college, all of college football, and tackles for loss. Like he really dominated this year. Like he is productive and he is dominant. I think that
can he cover? Is he
good enough for him to play Sam in the 14th? Let's say that just good enough.
You see where I'm going with that.
Good enough, but yeah, like let's just say if he was actually still playing linebacker as in Texas and he did not move to edge, I don't think he's a first round pick. I would say that right, because then you'd have to worry about him covering and stuff like that. But they switched him to edge, and then the way Gus Bradley's system set up, that he would come in and he would literally beat us ham. He's like the perfect fit for that, bro, because he would be fine if they had to play coverage. I mean, he would be okay, right? It wouldn't be absolutely terrible because he's been able to do those things before, and he came into Texas as a linebacker. All right, so he came into Texas. He was not an edge rusher; he's a linebacker, and they just used him correctly. They didn't do like the Zevon Collins they were talking about earlier. They didn't. They actually were like, oh, you could rush, so hey, maybe we should put you at defensive end. And guess what happened?
Look at that.
That's crazy.
So talk to us about Zevon Collins. Why is he not maybe on this list as an edge player, being 6'5", 260 pounds? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, basically because what he did at Tulsa is not really what you would say is an edge player, and that's really projection. If you're saying that he's going to be an edge player, it's all projection. So I wouldn't put him in my top 5 edges, but it's somebody the Raiders might take for that position though, if they feel like that he can do that. But I mean, there's, like I said, that would be a projection, and he would have to still learn it. He would still have to get better as a defensive end. Now, to me, that'd be kind of like taking Rousseau. If you take Rousseau, because you know Rousseau. I mean, if you think about it, okay, so he got up to 265, right? Could he lose some weight and play that position too? A little bit, yeah, and keep his athleticism. There's so much more you could do with him, like if you really, really wanted to mold him, because he's basically a edge rusher of clay at this point. That's basically what he is. He's an edge rusher full of clay, and you can like if you have the right coach and the right and you obviously his motor's super high. I mean that kind of tells you his work ethic. I mean if he's making plays all over the field and he has a super high motor, it kind of tells you what his work ethic is. I mean, that's kind of shows that. I mean, you just don't go that hard in the field and don't go that hard off the field, in my opinion. I guess that's kind of how I look at it. But
right.
I think that it's somebody that you can mold into whatever you wanted him to be. So if you wanted him to play the same position, I seen him stand up and go back into coverage in the tape I watched. I saw him do that. It's funny. I'm talking about Rousseau like he's my one, but I just because he kind of is, but he's not. You know what I mean? It's basically but he's just that upside, bro. Like, yeah, there's a chance that if I had to bet who's the best guy, I would take a bet on him, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not him being so young, like what, 20 years old?
Maybe. Yeah, he's probably 20 right now.
But him being so young, like it's probably a few years away. Like, remember when Jadeveon Clowney came out and then he like did nothing in his rookie year? Remember that?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, he's a bust. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like year 3 when he started like being a menace.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, sometimes it doesn't have to like happen year 1. Please relax, people.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, come on. Imagine if NBA draft picks got judged by that. Like if they weren't like friggin' Pro Bowler or All-Star team in year 1. Like, come on, it takes everyone time to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but I definitely like people most likely scenario Rousseau, whichever team drafts Rousseau, he's gonna be a first round draft pick. He's gonna have a lot of expectations on him, and you might see people in the draft in the fan base who are really down on him after year 1, not realizing this guy's gonna probably play in the NFL for like 10 years, and like year 1 is like year 1, year 2 is like when he's getting it all figured out. I mean, like with that athleticism and that size, like we're talking about like Julius Peppers, eventually or something like that, like Jason Taylor, like this is rare, like
that's what I'm saying. Like that size and athleticism, and
right.
And like his burst is not like his upfield burst is not the best. Like he doesn't have the best get off, right? But that has more to do with learning how to be alignment too. Like that's like Jalen Phillips has been alignment his whole life, right? And he's gonna get off the ball quicker than Rousseau. I mean, it's just that's the way it is. But when Rousseau, learns to read the football and learn snap counts and stuff like that, bro, it's, what I mean? It's just so much that he can learn and get better at. It's just crazy to me. He's so raw, bro. But like, it's a piece of clay. If you can do it, and I think he has the work ethic to get better. So,
before we get into free agents, any sleepers at edge?
Yeah. So my main sleeper for somebody that Gus Badley will really like, in my opinion, is Ronnie Perkins from Oklahoma. Ronnie Perkins, he's a really, really good edge rusher. Definitely a lot of talent, a lot of power. You know what I'm saying? We talked about Tevin Jenkins on this show and how evil Tevin Jenkins was a couple episodes ago. That dude, he ran over Tevin Jenkins like multiple times with long arms. And Ronnie Perkins is really, really good. And he's another player who doesn't care about the run. But I mean, I guess it's the Big 12, so maybe I don't know. But he just
you see her run like 3 times a game in the Big 12.
Same with Ossai. Maybe it's Ossai is just like it's Big 12. It's TC.
Right.
I'm just gonna,
right.
But
that's hilarious.
He doesn't have like those run talent, but I almost put him over Olujari. Let's just say that I'm really, really close, and I think that he would come in and probably play better than Olujari earlier because Olujari is gonna have to learn how to win because he's just doesn't have that extreme burst and stuff like that. He's got to learn how to win too. And I think Ronnie Perkins can win quicker, basically earlier.
Okay, all right.
But
I'll keep an eye.
but this,
I have
but I'm
not
telling you,
watched Perkins. I haven't seen him, so I gotta watch him now.
yeah, Perkins is really good, really good player. And then Basham too. Like I know a lot of people like Basham from Wake Forest, but I feel like he's a defense tackle,
He's an
and I
interior.
think
Yeah.
see, and that goes back to we talk about fits too, and he kind of has that fit for a defensive tackle in Gus Bradley's system. Like he's basically kind of the same size as Jerry Tillery, and he plays
Malik
pretty well inside.
Jackson. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And he plays pretty well. So, I was thinking when I was watching, like, is this guy defensive tackle one? And I was watching
Okay.
him because I mean, from the edge, he doesn't really have that bend, but I think inside he could play because he has power and he's a little stronger than how big he is. And when he played, he dominated from the inside at the Senior Bowl. So he was really impressive inside.
I've only seen a few clips, but I feel like an odd front team would really be high on Basham. Have it be like, the Casey Hayward, Stephon Tuitt type of guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
for sure. Not many, too many sleepers. I mean, you go like with Quincy Roche and stuff like that, but my main sleeper is Ronnie Perkins. But he's rising up the board because he just entered Daniel Jeremiah's top 50. So I don't know how he won't be a sleeper by like March.
Okay.
March.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Daniel
Jeremiah's on him, so it's over. Everyone's on him.
Yeah, he went from like unranked to like 40th. So.
Right.
Because he was watching him on Instagram, and the next thing you know, he's top 40 in this. So, because it's impressive tape, bro. It is. He's impressive tape, sure.
All right. So, okay. Thanks for that. That was a great breakdown. Taking us through the potential directions that the Raiders could go in. They do need pass rush. They need a lot of help on defense. And, a first-round pick could be something that might be a little too rich because basically all those guys, maybe except for Adrian Phillips with the medical history, but if not for the medical history, Phillips is probably a first-round pick as well. Mm-hmm. But so maybe that's too rich for the Raiders. Okay, maybe they go offensive tackle like we talked about in the past. There's other directions that they could go. Maybe they go defensive tackle. We'll see. But in the event that they don't want to go edge rusher first round, okay, we got some guys in free agency who might be able to help out the Raiders. Okay, first and foremost, Leonard Floyd. He's in a Bears jersey here, but he played with the Rams last year. We'll see. The Rams, they have serious cap issues and trade away all their first round picks and everything like that. So he could hit the open market. And man, Leonard Floyd is, first of all, he can play the run at 6'6", 240 pounds. He's a former, linebacker. And this guy, look at that cross chop. Okay. Oh, he could also win with power, splits the double team, walks these guys back. And he's got a lot of hustle. I mean, he basically sacked Russell Wilson 7 times this last year, and it was all because Russell Wilson was holding the ball and Leonard Floyd closed quickly. Okay, my next guy, Haason Reddick. I'm thinking, okay, I've seen him in college. He's going to win with a lot of speed. No, bro, he won with all power, 6'1", 240, and this guy is literally throwing grown men around. I've never seen a player of his stature play like this, except for maybe James Harrison back in the day. Okay, this guy is all power moves. It's crazy. Look at this. He just completely tossed that guy to the side. I mean, if Marinelli gets his hands on this guy, we could see a guy maybe who's a double-digit sack guy for the rest of his career. All right, Melvin Ingram, obviously, he's played in Gus Bradley's system, 6'2", 250. He's a Leo. Everyone knows that inside spin move that he does, okay? He could also win going around the edge, but he's mostly an inside move guy, okay? And he can also rush from the interior, okay? So that would really boost the Raiders' rush plan. Their pass rushing fronts that they can get into because Ingram's going to know him immediately. And he can also set the edge against the run. That was a fantastic way to get off that block here. If the play is coming to him or going away from him, he's a good run player as well. Okay, my last guy, not a lot of people have been talking about him, but Carl Lawson. He's got an interesting body type. Okay, he's 6'1", 260-pound edge player. Okay, and this guy is he's a mean person. Okay, don't you dare try to block this guy with a tight end. Are you kidding me? Okay, And he's not the most advanced pass rusher. He's not going to be a speed rushing guy. Okay. But he's going to win with a lot of power. And he converts speed to power. Let's just put it like that, So I do like Carl Lawson. All those guys are, the Leo type of players. Are they linebackers? Are they defensive ends? Like that kind of tweener status.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not all of those guys are going to hit the open market. We're going to see, but there's a good chance for each one of those players to hit the open market because the salary cap is in flux. We don't know exactly what it's going to be at. Melvin Ingram, he didn't have a great year. He had a lot of injuries. We'll see about Haason Reddick. They got Marcus Golden and Dennis Gardeck over there that also had a lot of production and in their careers. So and he's always struggled to fit in over there as well, even though this last year he blew up. So any one of those guys, if they hit the open market, I think that they would instantly improve the Raiders pass rush. And it would, they would all, some of them would be relatively expensive. So that's another thing to, look at as well. But really my vote right now would be to just go get Melvin Ingram. Like he can play the run. You can put him on the interior and in the pass rush packages, and he can wreak havoc like he's been doing. And immediately he would just be able to, there would be no learning curve as far as the scheme goes and the terminology. And in a COVID offseason, not a regular offseason, I might say, hey, try to get Haason Reddick, see what you could do with that guy or, something like that. But in a COVID offseason, when these guys are going to be in Zoom meetings and everything like that, Melvin Ingram, he can just go to the beach. He can go on vacation because he already knows it already. All right. He'll come to camp real fresh. Right. And he needs it because he's been injured and banged up a lot.
Yeah.
But, he most likely, good chance that he hits the open market because he was banged up this last year. And, Chargers are going in a different direction on defense. So it might be that, they don't have a need for, kind of his tweener. Is he a defensive end? Is he a linebacker kind of player?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then also at the same time, he had no sacks in 2020 because he was banged up the entire year. Right. Yeah. So I think that he would be a cheaper alternative to a guys like Leonard Floyd, who Leonard Floyd had he literally had 7 sacks against Russell Wilson. It was 3 games that the Rams played against Russell Wilson were more than half his sacks. Right. And it was all Russell Wilson just holding on to the ball. I went through every single one of those sacks.
Yeah.
Right? None of them were a quality, quick win sack. It was always Russell Wilson is holding the ball for 5 seconds. And then, Floyd chases him down. Right. So yes. I think that some of his stats might be inflated. Okay. So he's going to get paid a lot. I don't know if he's going to be a double-digit sack guy for the rest of his career. Okay. Haason Reddick. He was a double-digit sack guy, 12.5 sacks. Okay. They finally let him play defensive end. Okay. They thought he was too small to play defensive end. They tried to make him a linebacker. He wasn't successful until this last year. Right. But 5 of those sacks came against the Giants, guys. 5 sacks in one game. Okay. If that's not inflating or padding stats, I don't even know what is, right? So neither of these guys are locked to continue to be double-digit sack guys into next year. Yeah. So they are going to get paid. Spot Rec has them both around $13 million, $14 million range. In comparison to the type of players at that position who have been signed, from going into their second contract, whatever it is. Right. Mm-hmm. So, whereas Melvin Ingram, he's banged up, he's a little older, he's going to be cheaper, and he's going to know everything already. So that's why my vote would be just try to get Melvin Ingram in. And again, he can move anywhere. He can rush from the interior. You could have Max Crosby out on one side, Cleveland Farrell out on one side, let Melvin Ingram go in the middle. He can, rush off the edge, whatever it is. It would be a big boost, and he knows everything. So,
yeah, I mean, he still could play. I mean, we saw from the clips he showed against the Raiders. I mean, he still had a good game that game. He still can play. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really
that was his best game in 2020 though. So
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the you sure, man? They have an elite offensive line. I thought
Raiders have an elite offensive line.
Yeah, bro. I thought
does Twitter say that? Because I watch film and the film doesn't lie about that. Okay. Raiders do not have an elite offensive line.
That's what I'm saying. It was just funny watching those clips with the Raiders. They're just Cardinals getting
exactly.
Or just like that still that went viral with that was a clean pocket with Russell Wilson, the difference between Derek Carr and Russell Wilson. That's why he wants to come. Then John Simpson was getting beat, and then they showed the play, and they got pressure like 2 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I just sidetracked.
And an aside though is like the people who freeze the film. Yeah. And they're like, look at that clean pocket, or look at this guy open, or something like that. It's like, no, that's not how it works. You got to run the film. Are you kidding me? You can't just freeze it at the spot that you think is going to make your argument. Come on, guys. Don't do that. Don't be one of those people.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was just some of the funniest stuff I saw on Twitter this week. Was that?
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see the still?
No.
John Simpson's getting beat. And he's like, look at that clean pocket. Russell Wilson wants that. And I was thinking, like, man, Russell Wilson got sacked on that play.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Anyways, guys, back to edge defenders. So yeah, I agree. I think Melvin Ingram should definitely get a look from the Raiders for sure. And because even with that, I think sometimes at this point, I think you got to put these 2019 draft picks on a little bit of notice too. I think they tried it with Carl Nassib, but it didn't work. And if they added Carl Nassib last year, right, and they probably think that they still need help with edge rush, they're going to go there. And I don't know what they plan on doing with Nassib. I mean, it's bad, but I really feel like they should just eat it. I feel like they should eat that. And because he's just wasting space, you know what I mean? Like, and I know it's still gonna be a cap hit. It's not gonna make any sense, but I mean that's maybe why you draft somebody, because I'm sure you could draft somebody and do what he did last year. So
shoot, man, I'm speechless. Like, Carl Nassib was such a bad contract, but Gus Bradley, he likes to have a big defensive end. But then on the other side, he likes to have a smaller defensive end. Okay. Some defenses do that in the NFL. Some defenses don't. Max Crosby can he play Leo? We're going to see if they put him on the weak side, and, we'll find out, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Okay. But usually Gus Bradley likes a shorter player who's quicker there. Freaking Carl Nassib was 6'7". Okay, like he does not fit the body type. Like, he does not fit this defense at all.
Yeah,
like he. So it sucks that that's who the Raiders got. Maybe they could be like, hey, Carl, look, we're gonna send you to the buffet at Caesars, all right, and you're gonna just put on 30 pounds and rush from the interior all year long. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do with this guy. He does not fit the scheme at all. So. And it's like a $9 million cap hit with him.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, that's why I kind of feel like that at this point. I think sometimes you got to be like, okay, we made a bad decision, and you just got to eat it, right? And you kind of just eat it.
Well, I mean, technically it kind of fit, like Paul Gunther's scheme, but it just doesn't fit Bradley's scheme. So
but they still gave him too much money. Come on,
they did. They definitely did.
They gave Carl Nassib like.
I know. That's
and a whole bunch of guarantees. Like, why is there dead cat with Carl Nassib? Everybody was so excited about signing too. I was like, Carl Nassib? Carl Nassib? Because he got like 6 sacks last year. I'm like, so? Like, it's Carl Nassib. And we gave him guaranteed money where we're at the point right now that we have to think about when we can't cut him. He should be like the most easy to be cuttable player. Because you know what I mean? I don't know.
It was always weird. It was always weird that they did that. It was, obviously they thought one of those defensive ends, Cleveland Ferrell or Max Crosby, wasn't a starter. Because you don't pay a guy $11 million to play less than 50% of the snaps.
But that's what I'm saying. So what do they? Because that comes back to that. So our whole conversation about this whole defense and what they're gonna do. It's like, what do they think of these guys? Like, literally, what is their evaluation of them? And that's kind of the real question of the whole offseason is, what do they think of Max Crosby? Is Gus Bradley really high on Max Crosby, or does he think like Max Crosby is just not maybe what he thinks that fans might think Max Crosby is, right? And he decides, okay, maybe we should go get this guy. We should go get Melvin Ingram, and then Melvin Ingram might start stealing some snaps eventually, right? Or is it like, do we draft somebody and we try to, build it that way? Do they like Cleveland Farrell? Is that, what are they thinking? Like, do they like Maurice Hurst? It's gonna be interesting to me. Once free agency starts, we're gonna have a lot of questions answered. That's all.
Yes, the type of player that they pick at all the spots on defense is gonna tell us what they think about all the position groups for sure, 100%. And that's why I'm really waiting for it. When is that? April 1st, March 1st? When is it?
That's probably like 2 weeks from now, bro.
2 weeks. Okay, so we're gonna find out soon enough. All right, great. Oh man, once we start getting these free agents, man, we're gonna be breaking down all this film, right? Okay, so stay tuned for that, Raider Nation, for sure. But what I'll say too is, you're a nickel over 75% of the time in the NFL now.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas back when Gus Bradley was in Seattle, that might not have been the case. Like, you were a nickel maybe like half the time. So it was important having like that base package, having an expansive base personnel package where you're able to get into multiple fronts and things like that. And, going from Jacksonville and then now into the Chargers, like, he was a nickel, like, exclusively the Chargers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, this last year, like, it was like either nickel or dime. And one of their inside linebackers was a converted safety, Kazir White. So it's like they're like, they only have one real linebacker on the field. And why that matters is, you're going to have now a pass rush front is your starting front, right? So having Max Crosby and then Cleveland Ferrell maybe on the same side, and then, having a guy like Melvin Ingram on the opposite side, or Joseph Ossai, that's like more of like a normal NFL front right now. That's like turning into what the base is, regardless if you're a 3-4 team or a 4-3 team.
Yeah.
Nickel is the base. That means you have 4 defensive linemen. Okay. Or 4 rushers, right? So Max Crosby is going to be there. Maybe he gets subbed out 15% of the time in base packages, and I'll be fine with that. But it would be disappointing to me if Gus Bradley looks at Max Crosby and goes, I can't work with that. That'd be disappointing. So I'll just say that.
Very. Because, to be fair to Max, I'll be fair to Max. I mean, he has a great athletic profile, and he has a great, all the measurements you want, everything. I mean, he was raw too, right? And, he still has opportunity to get better. He had a great game against Denver at the end of the year, and I think he still has a chance to get better. And I really feel like they'll still kind of see his upside. In my opinion, I think that you got to bet on that a little bit. The athleticism is still there. He just has to refine his skill, man. He's got to find better ways to win right now at this point.
Yeah, because the book is out on how he wins.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest thing in the NFL is like you got to continue to improve and add tools to your repertoire year in and year out. These offensive tackles, like, they're preparing. They literally meet at a summit in the off season and they go over all the best pass rushers and what moves they have and what they do, and
like, and what they did. Like Teron Armstead is telling some guy that how he stopped Von Miller. Like this is what I did to stop Von Miller, and this is what I would use when he would do this move.
Right. Exactly. So look. The defensive line, you got to keep on improving year in and year out. And I don't think that we saw a skill jump from Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Maybe he got stronger. Maybe, maybe he put on some weight, but I don't think we saw like, oh, now look, it's not just the same Euro step cross chop that he always does. Like, it's like the same move over and over again, right? You gotta have some different things here, right? So yeah, hopefully we see like a big jump from him. So yeah, but I think we're going a little bit off the rails here. Anything else you want to say about Russell Wilson wanting to come play for the Raiders if he gets traded?
I feel like we kind of like got into Russell Wilson a little bit. All right, I guess we could. I think Russell Wilson. I think quarterback perception is a huge thing. Like the perception of what quarterbacks are and what they really are is not reality, right? Because perfect example for me about quarterback perception is Kyler Murray. I think there's everybody puts Kyler Murray in the top 10 quarterbacks, right? But Kyler Murray, the past 2 years, BD, is 20th in adjusted net yards per attempt. 20th. He's 20th. And every single person will tell you that Kyler Murray is top 10 quarterback just because it's Kyler Murray. Like, it's not even looked into. We're just gonna ignore his YPA. We're gonna ignore, his efficiency. We're gonna ignore everything about it because he's Kyler Murray, and I won fantasy championship with him, so he's top 10, right? And I think that's the same thing with like Russell Wilson, right? It's like the perception is that Russell Wilson would automatically come over to Raiders and they would automatically start winning. And people are going to say that I'm crazy for saying this, but I don't know if that is like 100% like thing. Like, would they make the playoffs? Right? Yeah, I would say they would probably make the playoffs, right? If Russell Wilson came, would they win the Super Bowl with the way that he plays at this point in time of his career and what he wants to be, right? What he really, really, really wants to be in his head, right? It's not who he is, because who he is like a quarterback who does a great deep ball, right? One of the best deep balls you'll ever see, right? And he makes plays off schedule, right? But who he thinks he thinks he's Tom Brady. Okay. So since he thinks he's Tom Brady, he doesn't have that kind of like self-awareness about himself that he thinks he can throw the ball 580 times. And Pete Carroll's like, I don't know if you could do that. And then he gave him the chance to do it, right? And it just kind of fell off the rails. Because I'll say this too, is that the way Russell Wilson played at the end of the year last year, right? The way that he played at the end of the year, like, the Raiders wouldn't have made the playoffs with him as quarterback if he played that way. Like, he was like 28th in yards per attempt at the end of the year, right? His last 6 games, and they barely scored over 20 points. They scored 20 points or less like 3 times because teams started to figure him out and they started trying to make him throw over the middle. They started blitzing him a lot because he's not really a hot read guy, and if he's throwing the ball a lot, the way he plays is just not sustainable for a long period of time. So, yeah, would Russell Wilson come here and is he a better grade than Derek Carr? It's like, yes, okay, he's a better upgrade Derek Carr. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's not a for sure thing that he would come here and then the Raiders would automatically start winning. Now, maybe like Deshaun Watson, I feel a little different. I'd be like, I think that, because I think that Watson's tape is probably one of some of the insane. BD, like when you get bored one day, just go watch Deshaun Watson play this year. It's just like it's literally insane. Like some of the things that he was doing. Like there's this one play against the Jags where I thought it was an incomplete pass on one angle, and then it went to the end zone angle, and it was complete. Like I was like freaking out. I couldn't even. I was like, what the hell is going on? So like it's just. And I feel bad, like, people are going to kill me for this. I know that people are going to kill me for what I'm saying right now. But I think that, Russell Wilson is just, there's just something wrong with him because he reminds me like RG3 a little bit, like his mindset. Where RG3 walked into the room with Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan, and he came up on the board and started telling them how he wants to be used and how he wants to be used in the pocket because he's a pocket passer. Like that's where Russell Wilson is right now. He's basically in the room telling Pete Carroll, like, "Hey, I'm a pocket passer, so and I'm Drew Brees, and I can." That's what he's doing. So I'm going to go on the road, and I'm Drew, and Pete Carroll's like, "No, you're Russell Wilson."
Yeah, and let me just say this too.
Yeah,
he has a lot of bad habits, and him being so reliant on second reaction, improv. Okay. waiting, holding the ball, taking so many sacks. Okay. Like John Gruden would have a heart attack. He would literally, you would see him like keel over on the field, getting so upset about Russell Wilson not hitting the hot route, not hitting the side adjustment. Okay. Like Russell Wilson doesn't want to take things on schedule. He doesn't. He's like, no. Something's going to get open deep. Like, I'm going to hold it. And sometimes it works and it looks amazing, right? And that's what we were talking about on a previous episode, okay? There's a difference between great quarterback play and impressive throws, right? Like, Russell Wilson wants to always make the impressive throw when a lot of times the great quarterback move, the great quarterback play is to just freaking hit your hot route, okay? Make them stop blitzing, okay? I know it was only a 5-yard gain. Stay on schedule, stay ahead of the sticks. John Gruden, personally, I don't think that that's not it. At least say John Gruden did want Russell Wilson and say the Raiders, this is not going to happen, but say the Raiders made moves happen and all of a sudden Russell Wilson was the Raiders quarterback, okay? Mm-hmm. It would be at least a solid year and a half of friction between Gruden and Russell Wilson because their styles are completely like they do not work. It's like oil and water, and vinegar, or whatever, right? They do not match. Okay, so whereas John Gruden knows Derek Carr is going to execute his offense. He's not going to miss the reads. He's gonna hit the hot routes, hit the side adjustments, right? He's gonna stay on schedule. He's gonna throw the ball away. Because John Gruden wants to keep on calling plays. He does not want Derek Carr to turn the ball over or take a sack. He does not want that to happen, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I do think that John Gruden is higher on Derek Carr than a lot of people think. You know, there's like all this media reports about how the Raiders keep on trying to trade Derek Carr, and it just never seems to be correct. Which I mean, like, yeah, like, you know, he's not like untouchable. You definitely call around and see if certain guys, you know, are available and if it would be an upgrade and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Derek Carr, guys. You can stop, you know, thinking about Russell Wilson. And even if Russell Wilson did come, okay, it would literally be shouting matches between him and John Gruden, like
all the time. like there's this clip of Pete Carroll's mic'd up, right, for like SeattleSeahawks.com. And this is this year when they're playing the Jets. And you hear Pete, right? And Russell gets the ball, and Pete's like, hit the tight end. Hit the tight end.
I saw this,
You see that, right? And like the tight end's wide open. But, you know, Russ just passes it up. He could have hit it in rhythm, but Russ passes it up, spins around, rolls out. He hits David Moore for a touchdown. Russ Creed's like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, well, that works.
That worked. Right. That's not how we drew it up, but okay, you know.
And then he sees him on the sideline. He's like, yeah, you have the tight end wide open right there. But you'll see it on tape when we watch it. And then he puts his mask back on. I mean, it sounds like we're killing Russell Wilson, but it's to me, it's more that like listening to Cam Newton, right? I don't know if you've seen the I Am Athlete episode of Cam Newton, but listening to Cam Newton talk about himself, Cam Newton knows that he is not Tom Brady. Like Cam Newton knows who he is as a NFL quarterback. Like, this is my style. I am not trying to be Tom Brady. I am not Tom Brady. This is how I play. I'm going to play this way. And if you don't like how I play this way, you don't like it. But, you know, I'm not going to try to be Mr. Pocket Passer. I'm going to read everything. And I mean, he's not, he'll check down stuff. He's not, he'll see blitzes.
Yeah, he'll check down.
Way better than Russell Wilson. But my point is that, you know, he has, I don't know, I feel like the self-awareness is there. And like, there's a lot of like, Russell Wilson kind of is like, if you're like a big leader, I feel like you should know who you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not Tom Brady, bro. You're not Drew Brees. You can't throw the ball 650 times. Like, it's not going to work. Because the reason why Drew Brees can throw the ball 650 times is because Drew Brees will get rid of the football. You know what I mean? Like that. The way you play is just not sustainable.
It's an extension of the run game. He does the high percentage stuff. Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, okay, yeah, everyone says like he throws only slants to Michael Thomas. We know that's not true, but like it's, you know, it's an exaggeration of a lot of what Drew Brees does is he gets rid of the ball and there's a lot of quick game. You know, how much quick game is like so Kurt Warner someone put on Twitter, what's your favorite passing play? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he said slant flat. Right. Like if you're thinking, like if you ask someone playing Madden, what's your favorite passing play? It's going to be freaking 4 verticals. It's going to be, you know, like a post across the middle of the field that you want something going deep. And Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback, goes slant flat is my favorite. You're like,
because yeah.
Ask Russell Wilson what his favorite one is. Okay, it's like it's gonna involve a post and like breaking out of the pocket and like scramble rule drills, and you know, like that's what Russell Wilson wants to do, like every other play. You know, like so yeah, definitely the awareness and you know just the style of quarterback. It's a very volatile, and Russell Wilson probably makes it harder on himself than he needs to.
Yeah,
and I love Russell Wilson. I agree with you. He is better than Derek Carr, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a flaw.
and nobody was talking about it. So that's what I think. That's my thing with perception, because like it's all about like he's Russell Wilson, and I get it. He's Russell Wilson, but like it's just like he's gonna come here and get 40. Like it's good. He's gonna have 40 sacks, guys, and we just got to be like, okay, you just got to be okay with that. I mean, that's basically what he's gonna get 40 sacks. He's gonna take a lot of sacks. He's not gonna play in rhythm. So him and John Gruden are gonna clash when he has Darren Waller open on the choice route, but he decides that he wants to hit Henry Ruggs on the corner route, and then John Gruden's gonna ask him, why didn't you hit Darren Waller on the choice route when he's coming off the sideline after a sack? And then he's gonna be like, because I saw Henry Ruggs coming up on the corner, and I thought I could make some more time, and I could hit Henry Ruggs deep on the corner route, and then they're gonna clash. That's the exact clash. That's the first thing I thought about.
Pete Carroll, he's a defensive coach first.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the ego about his offense being run the way that, you know, he wants it designed. Like John Gruden wants it to be run the exact way that it's drawn up. Okay, don't you dare mess with this. Which is what we talked about with Marcus Mariota, missing reads and taking, you know, running at some points instead of hitting the spot. You know, that's why Marcus Mariota is on the trade block, okay? Because he didn't run John Gruden's offense the way, even though he looked spectacular doing it. John Gruden's like, no, you need to run it the way I want you to run it. Yeah. Okay, I don't care how good you look.
So did you see that 4 verts I called? You had 3 guys open.
All right.
Well, he's gonna play it over.
He threw to one of them. It just took way too long to make that throw to Nelson Aguilar. But okay, that's it.
All right, guys.
That's it, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see how much of that makes it to the final edit here. You know, I think we went over on time a little bit, but we appreciate you guys checking in.
All right.
You know, this is Tape Don't Lie Raiders film channel. We broke down free agent defensive ends, draft prospects who played defensive end. So keep on tuning in. We're gonna have some free agent stuff in the coming weeks. We might do. You want to do running back next week?
Yeah, you do running backs just so I can show off Michael Carter, because that's my other
cool
draft stand right there.
Please put Jamar Jefferson in there too. I want to see that.
Okay.
So yeah, make sure you guys tune in. We got running backs in the works here. You can follow my guy. He's the draft scout at the Mark John NFL. That's Marcus Johnson. He's the draft scout. I'm the pro scout. You can follow me on Twitter at BDWilliams18. As always, hit subscribe, hit like. Peace out, Raider Nation.